everyone, I am taking you behind the scenes on my recent trip to Las Vegas for the 2024 American Film Market, also known as the AFM. You're going to want to stick around because I'm sharing some cool insights on how to navigate this industry event, plus some cool resources to get you started on your movie marketing journey. So let's dive in. Hey everyone, welcome to the Black Filmmaker Guide, the channel that is dedicated to movie marketing. Remember to like and subscribe and hit the bell notification so you can continue to get videos delivered to you. So recently I attended the 2024 American Film Market this past year in Las Vegas. If you're not familiar, the AFM is where distributors, marketers, financiers, streamers, sales agents all come together to make deals. My goal was simple: network, hand out business cards, and just get a feel for the business side of the industry. But first, let me tell you about my crazy trip story that almost never happened. So it's the night before my 6 a.m. flight to Vegas, and I figure, hey, let me head over to the office around 10 p.m. just to get some work done. Then I'll leave at 3 a.m. to get to my flight on time. Sound like a good plan, so I thought. I leave at 3 a.m., get to the airport, get to the parking lot, and then guess what? I completely forgot my luggage at the office. I don't know, I must have been back and forth to my car and just completely forgot it. So I jumped back on the highway, drove almost an hour, and prayed I wouldn't be pulled over as I sped back to the office. I got my luggage, raced back to the airport, but this time I had to shell out for premium parking because I was way behind. But TSA was surprisingly quick, and I'm running through the airport in sandals of all things, and I finally make it to the gate with 10 minutes to spare. Listen, I've been waiting months for this trip. I purchased tickets, bought my flight, hotels. If I missed this flight, I would have been out a lot of money. But thank God I made it. And that's how my trip to Vegas started. But once I settled in, I realized how much I actually enjoy traveling. It's not about just going to new places, but it's about the experiences, the perspectives, the new cultures, learning the history, and the stories you bring back. Anytime you visit a new place, it heightens your sense of awareness and immediately puts you in the present moment. I've been fortunate to travel across America, and one thing that always stands out is just how vast and empty most of the country is. And as filmmakers, these experiences are invaluable. They inspire our stories, broaden our horizon, and challenge us to grow. Hopefully, I can go on many more places in the future. All right, now let's get back to the American film market. If you are a producer or a filmmaker, this is where all the magic or deals are done. Over $1 billion worth of deals are done during this event, and over half are on productions that haven't even started yet. It's less about outright selling and more about creating interest and planting seeds for future deals. Meetings are short, usually around 10 minutes, and the dynamic is heavily focused on business-to-business interactions, which requires a different approach than traditional pitching. Heading to the AFM, I had very clear goals, which was networking. My plan was to hand out business cards, connect with other filmmakers, observe how industry professionals discuss films, and just gain a better understanding of the business side of filmmaking. Imagine working for a production company in acquisitions, and in every 15 minutes you are pitching films to potential buyers all around the world, most of whom don't even speak the same language or have the same cultural context. And your job is to sell romantic comedies, action films, thrillers, heavy dramas to meet the market needs globally. It's a fast-paced, high-stakes environment that tests your ability to negotiate, tailor your approach, and close those deals. Distributors and sales agents are master pitchers. They know how to adjust their approach based on the territory preferences and can even sell films they personally don't like. They understand which elements, like the star power or specific themes, resonate with particular audiences. It's not about passion projects from the filmmakers. It's about appealing and understanding the passion for the audience. So what are some keys to navigating the American film market? Preparation is crucial. You want to research your distribution companies in advance, understand their preferences, what they specialize in, and whether your project aligns with their needs. And you want to be concise. Meetings are typically short and focus on just sparking interest and not necessarily giving a full pitch. And professionalism matters. Always email or schedule meetings ahead of time and be punctual. Bring a small team and send screeners ahead of time if you can. And you want to tell your pitch, asking key questions like, what type of films do they buy? Do they finance pre-production? What genres and budgets are they looking for? And what territories do they focus on? The goal is to qualify the buyer and adapt the pitch to their needs. AFM is essentially the wholesale market for films. These professionals don't just sell films, they package them, create multiple posters, and refine the top picks to present to buyers. The focus is on commerce, not culture. Some of the best conversations I had happened unexpectedly, like meeting a buyer of animated films at lunch one day, or running into a film financier dancer at the elevator, or meeting an entertainment lawyer coming from my hotel room. I got into great conversations with them and they were very helpful. There were many vendors who showcased production software and AI tools, highlighting how technology is kind of reshaping the industry. And there were a lot of representatives from various states advertising their locations and tax incentives for filmmakers. States like Georgia and Louisiana are prime examples of how film industries can transform a regional economy. But there were some challenges at the event. Usually the American Film Market is held in Santa Monica, California at the Lowe Hotel, but this was the first time it was held in Las Vegas. Some of the people I talked to felt it was kind of a distraction to have an entire casino floor in the middle of the event. I myself also found it kind of challenging to meet people in the middle of all of that. And then the elevators that gave you access to different rooms were often very crowded and slow. And some of the buyer preferences were very vague. When I did get a chance to go in the room, many distributors didn't clearly state what they were actually looking for, making it kind of hard to tailor a pitch. This ambiguity reflects kind of a broader challenge in the industry. Even big studios and streamers are struggling to predict what is actually working. But some of the best advice were from producers who kind of been there before. Also, a lot of the sales agents really weren't looking for anything. This was especially true with a lot of sales agents who were more interested in promoting their own projects rather than exploring collaborations. But being at the AFM gave me a deeper understanding of the current challenges facing the industry. Platforms like Netflix, Disney Plus, and Amazon have really reshaped the landscape, leaving indie filmmakers kind of scrambling to find their own place. The industry is undergoing market correction, and many indie distributors are struggling to stay afloat. And of course, technology like AI is transforming every aspect of filmmaking from production to marketing, which was one of the centerpieces of the actors and writers strike last year. But I was also very surprised at how accessible a lot of distributor offices were. During the right time, you could literally just walk right into some of the office of the distributors and sales agents, if they weren't in a meeting, of course. They were also doing screeners as well, which is probably why they ended up choosing the Palm Resort Hotel. I ended up seeing a foreign animated film myself, but honestly, I kind of fell asleep. Plus, I was able to show some of my AI concepts to a few of the distributors myself. Attending the AFM was a very valuable experience for me, not just for networking, but for just understanding the mechanics of how that side of the industry works. It reinforced the importance of preparation, persistence, and adaptability. But the best part was just connecting with like-minded filmmakers and gaining an insight of the state of the industry. So if I was to give a tip to future attendees, I would say the early days of the week are mainly for scheduled meetings for buyers and sellers. So if you are a producer, you want to go towards the later part of the week. The other tip would be to have a finished product. That was one of the most consistent things they kept telling me. Do you have a finished product? We're only looking for finished product. So bring something tangible to pitch. And finally, just stay open-minded and be persistent. So for anyone who is serious about breaking into the industry, this will be the event for you. But of course, I couldn't leave Vegas without exploring some other spots. Another one of my main goals when researching Vegas was to visit the Mob Museum. If you don't know, Vegas used to be heavily run by the Midwest Italian mob families. This was amazingly portrayed in the '95 film Casino by Martin Scorsese, featuring Robert De Niro, Sharon Stone, and Joe Pesci. And it is one of my favorite films of all time. I am fascinated with the stories of that era, even the mythology of gangster culture. Films like Goodfellas, Peaky Blinders, The Wire, Gangs of New York, and just how immigrants came to this country and made their own rules. So going to the Mob Museum was interesting to me and something I put on my list. It ran like a regular museum exhibit with artifacts, videos, and lots of reading. Sure, I could have probably found this stuff online, but it was just really cool to see it all in one place and to just be with others who also shared the similar interests. The mob has always been portrayed in movies because of people's just fascination with it. The exhibit showed the violence, some of the weapons, stories about Jimmy Hoffa and the Union, Bugsy Siegel and Howard Hughes, the different rackets that they used, and even showed the different schemes that they used to rob the casino. I highly recommend it if you're interested in that stuff. Another one of the highlights on my trip was seeing Michael Jackson's Cirque du Soleil show. It was just amazing to me to see the genius of Michael Jackson bringing so many people together after all these years of his passing. And it just shows the impact of his music and his life. From the costumes, the dance moves, the way they interpreted a new story, like when they played Dirty Diana or Human Nature. It almost made me just forget just how much amazing music that he had. I don't want to give too much away, but it was kind of cool how in the beginning they had these paparazzi-like people running around to the crowd with photos and taking pictures and doing interviews, and they feature a lot of tabloids and things like fake news to kind of show the lies that were being told during his life. But just overall, it was an amazing show, from the acrobatics to the breakdancing to even like the little drones that they had flying around. But overall, the best part was just the music. It played just like the album, but with some really cool mixes in between, and I just overall loved the vibe. Again, I don't want to give away too much, but if you're a fan of Michael Jackson, you gotta check the show out. Afterwards, I purchased some merch and bought a t-shirt and completed my 3-set album with The Bad Album, Dangerous, and Thriller. I know he also has a Broadway show in New York that I would love to check out. They're also going to be coming out with a biopic soon, directed by Antoine Fuqua and Michael Jackson's nephew, who's going to be portraying him, which I think is a great choice. I'm not sure how it's going to turn out, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. I also saw some other cool touristy things like the pyramids and the Sphinx at the Luxor Hotel. I saw the Sphere that they recently built as well, where they hold concerts. I also saw the famous fountains at the Bellagio Hotel that was featured in one of my favorite films, Ocean's 11. I saw the botanical gardens and saw tons of shops. Vegas is just one of those cities that's been used to sell America all over the world with its amazing landmarks. Now, one of the things I didn't do was gamble or play any slot machines. Now, I know that's what Vegas is all about, but it's just not something I'm really into. But I actually did try to do some sports betting. They have these kiosks and these big screens that show almost every sporting event. But because I was placing my bet on a Saturday for Sunday Night Football, I would have had to download the NGM app to receive my money all the way back in Florida, because sports betting is legal on a state-by-state basis. In the end, I already have enough sports betting apps and I really didn't want to download any more. In the end, Vegas was an unforgettable experience. From the chaos of almost missing my flight to the lessons I learned at AFM and the incredible sights I saw. One of the things that really stood out to me at the AFM was just the state of the film industry. With streaming giants like Netflix and Disney that are dominating, the market is kind of consolidating and in flux. Indie filmmakers are really struggling to find their place, and it's really clear that the industry is kind of going through some major changes right now. But here's the takeaway. As a filmmaker, we need to adapt, keep creating, and keep learning. And this actually goes to a deeper level of people pursuing their dream. Unless you take action, then your dreams won't come true. But you have to know what you want and then ask for it. But in order to do that, you have to believe you're worthy of it. You have to have a strong conviction that you are capable just like anyone else, and let nothing get in your way of achieving it. On this channel, I talk about everything movie marketing. Movie marketing is so fascinating to me, and hopefully I can bring you more strategies and tips on how to navigate this industry. If you want to join our community of like-minded filmmakers who want to take movie marketing serious, I have something really cool for you guys. I've created a free PDF for the beginner's movie marketing guide that I'm going to put in the description below just for you. And as always, if you want to get updated videos on movie marketing, just hit the like button and the bell notification so you can get notified on more videos for you. I thank you guys for listening, and I'll check you guys later.